In addition to using precise scales on a map, we sometimes use the term large scale and small scale when we are referring to maps and globes. It is important to note that those terms are relative. There's no magic number that makes a map a large scale map or a small scale map. Large scale maps typically show a small area of the Earth and thus can show a large amount of detail. Check out this map of soil types. There's a lot of detail. For example, you can see individual city streets on this map. Small scales, in contrast, typically show a large area of the Earth and thus can only show a small amount of detail. Check out this world map. Not much detail, but you can see the whole world. Indeed, any map of the entire world is going to be a small scale map. A map of California or Redwood City on the same size piece of paper would be a much larger scale map. When comparing two maps, you can tell which is the larger scale map by simply looking at each map's fractional scale. The map with the larger fractional or ratio scale is the larger scale map. Notice that I said the larger fraction, not the larger denominator. Fractional scales generally all have the number 1 on the numerator, and the numbers vary in the denominator. The larger fraction will be the map with the smaller number in the denominator of the fraction. Which of these two fractional scales here shows a larger number? Actually, I guess both of these scales are written as ratio scales, but remember, you can also write them as a fractional scale, 1 over 16,000 for the map on the left, and 1 over 190 million for the map on the right. So again, which of these two fractional scales depicts a larger number? Hopefully it makes sense to you that the map on the left has a larger representative fraction. 1 over 16,000 is a much larger number than 1 over 190 million. Thus, the map on the left is a larger scale map. Which of these maps is the largest scale, and which is the smallest? Perhaps consider which has the largest amount of detail to remind you which is the largest scale map. And also consider the representative fractions. Pause the video briefly to figure this out. Here's the answer. The map at the top here is the smaller scale map, and as you move down through these maps, they become larger and larger scale. You can see this by looking at the representative fraction. This is a smaller number, and the numbers get larger as you move down here to the different maps. Further, you can think about it in how much detail. There's not a whole lot of detail of Atlanta here, and as you get into a larger and larger scale, you can have more and more detail.